9:37 exactly, news and views right here on Solar Media. We are now going to be talking with social media expert Carla De Beer about a very serious matter. And I think it impacts all of our lives. We need to be very careful on how we communicate on social media, very especially if you are the group admin. And I'm wondering if this rule applies only to South Africa, but Carla will put us in the picture. This is suggesting that the new WhatsApp change could lead to legal trouble for group admins in South Africa. Carla De Beer, a very good morning to you. Welcome to the program.
Hi, good morning. It's lovely to be here.
Lovely to have you on the show. And I am worried. I'm not a group admin on any groups at all. But I'm on plenty groups, and obviously I'm on my groups all of the time, catching up on news and views, obviously. But I'm also aware that a lot of rubbish is put out there, a lot of fake news is being put out there, but also very defamatory news is also put out on social media. So where do we stand on this issue? Am I safe if I'm not the group administrator, if I'm just a user on the group and I put out fake news? Or is it really about defamatory information that we put out there?
No, you're not safe, even if you're not a group admin. So the first thing that we need to remember, according to South African law, is for something to be seen as published in South Africa, only one other person needs to see it. I put up a status on Facebook now, somebody else sees it, it's seen as published. Then we start treating it the same way as we would something on the front page of a newspaper. So all the old laws apply. There is no such thing as social media laws. We work on legislation that's been there for hundreds of years. So if you share something, this is the rule. If you share something on a group, or if you are on a WhatsApp group and somebody shares something that's defamatory, racist, sexist, bullying somebody else, any of the other naughty stuff, and you do not leave the group or you do not send a message to say, I do not agree with what you are saying, this is not right, not in my name, then you are just as responsible as the person who published the status, the photo, the video in the first place.
So you, all right, is this just
the chain of publication?
Sorry, it's just the responsibility of the admin and that one other person? Or let's assume there are 10 people on the group. Are they all responsible then for not having called out the defamatory or the hurtful insinuations by a message that was posted?
So anybody can get into trouble on the group, right?
Ooh.
But the admin, and this is now the game changer, the admin of a WhatsApp group will now be held responsible for everything that happens on that group, because you, as the admin, have the power to remove the negative. It's like, think of a huge board that's in the public eye, and everybody gets to come and post their negative or positive remarks on this board. The person who put the board up is responsible to remove all the negative comments, and that's exactly the same thing with the WhatsApp admin. We've seen it in India as well, that WhatsApp admins have been jailed because of stuff that was said on a group, and they haven't done anything about it. And this was around 2019 already, so it's becoming a global trend.
So two very important questions, Carla. Who's going to police this? How do you call out something that is offensive, and to whom? And what about my small little family group, just my immediate family and I? Are we at risk as well? So who's going to police it? How do you report something that is offensive to you? And what about this tiny little personal groups?
So I think that the rule is, regarding the policing, I mean, it's a very difficult thing to do. Just before I answer that question, please remember that there is a thing in South Africa called innocent dissemination, which means that you haven't seen it. It's very difficult to prove innocent dissemination when you're on a WhatsApp group of 50 plus people. Because if somebody posted a defamatory remark or something racial 2 days ago, and you reply to another message on that group today, people say that you definitely have seen that content. Because you replied to another message 2 days later. So it's very difficult to prove innocent dissemination. It's also very difficult to police this, especially if you're on a group of 50 plus people and there's just messages coming through every single minute of the day. It's regarding the small family WhatsApp groups. Once again, innocent dissemination is very difficult to prove there. If you have a small family WhatsApp group of 5 to 10 people, it is, you've seen all the messages on the group, because it's not like thousands of messages coming through at one, at one go, and you don't have control of the messages coming through. It's less messages, which means the chance of proving innocent dissemination is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So the smaller the group, the smaller the chance of you getting away with innocent dissemination. Reporting these defamatory remarks, we normally, and it's on our website as well, we have WhatsApp guidelines, and we encourage people that when they open a WhatsApp group, that they post these WhatsApp guidelines, or their own WhatsApp guidelines, the rules and regulations of the WhatsApp group, sticking within the rules and regulations of the WhatsApp group. Depending on the content that was posted, I mean, if it's a racial comment that was made, it's crimen injuria, which means it's a criminal offense, and you can actually go to the police and report it and open a case of crimen injuria against that person. So it's all depending on the content at the end of the day. Defamatory content, it's civil. You can sue children as well. Realize that according to South African law, you can be sued in your own name from the age of 7.
Oh, frightening indeed. So we as parents need to be very responsible in access to WhatsApp groups and cell phones to our children. Carla is still there. I just heard a plop there, and I wondered if you're still on the line.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Let's. I'm trying to think of my individual responsibility, not as an administrator, but just coming across lots of fake news on groups, lots of sensational stuff that goes out there as well. And also on a lot of groups, people are wanting to be the first to share the information. I don't know why they believe that's going to make them look good or famous or in the know or whatever it is, but people, falling over their feet to post sensationalist information on different groups. Should they not first try and do some sort of fact checking, and how do you go about doing that? It's really about being responsible, is it not?
Yes, it is about being responsible, and we always say, presume everything is dodgy until proven otherwise. You need to fact check. You need to be an investigator. Like with COVID, I mean, that was the worst with the fake news. You need to check every single, if somebody sends out a WhatsApp message with news about this and that and the other, go and investigate it. Go search for it. Go to different websites. See whether or not it's fake news. If you Google something and it's big news all over, it will be there. And go to legitimate websites. Check your website as well, that the website is locked. You'll see, like on the right hand side, if you go into the search bar, not the Google search bar, like in your browser search bar, you'll see when you go into a website, there's a little lock on the right hand side or the left hand side of the search bar. It's the small details, and there's loads of articles on how to spot fake news. People should really investigate and really not send fake news on until proven otherwise.
Let's come back to group admins. Again, I ask the question. Let's say you are administering a group of 200, 500, or even more, because I am on one or two of such big groups. And from time to time, you do get some defamatory remarks against certain people or certain groups within the country. How do you then take that issue and escalate? You can call it out on the group and say that was unwarranted, uncalled for. Please take those comments off the group chat. But the injured party can and should, or possibly would, take action. Is it as simple as taking a screenshot and then going to your police station to lay a charge? I'm just trying to understand that process.
It's not an easy question to answer. I'll tell you why. Because once again, it depends on the content. It depends on how the person has been defamed. Every case has its own merits at the end of the day. So I think the first would be to take screenshots of it. We always say take screenshots, not to send on, not to show everybody the whole wide world, but to preserve it as evidence. And then you can go to the police to open. Let's say if it was a racial incident, you can go to the police, go to a lawyer that specializes in these types of matters and cases. And then we normally determine the merits of the case, and we then advise you accordingly. So it's like I said, it's not an easy answer. It's all depending on the case itself and the merits that go with it.
Is there a WhatsApp body or some sort of body in the country that one, just for ease of reference, that one could go to and say, this is what's come through on my group. This is how I feel about it. I do believe that it's defamatory or it's injurious to me as a person or a group. How do I move forward against cautioning this person not to do it any longer, or possibly laying a charge against the person? Is there
Mm.
a
So,
specific body that could be dealing and is dealing with these type of complaints?
well, once again, people are so inundated with these queries because it's just happening more and more all over the show, all over South Africa. So I would definitely suggest that people are more than welcome to give us a shout. We normally look at the content and then we advise accordingly, and we refer them on to other people as we see fit. Of
Oh,
course, it's very difficult to go to. I can't think of any other bodies that deal with
okay.
it at the moment.
All right.
But
Look,
they're more than welcome to contact us, and we normally refer people on to where they need to get the advice from.
so yours is a handy number to have. All I have on my script here is that Carla de Beer is a social media expert, but I don't have the name of your company. Are you happy to give it out here on air right now?
Absolutely,
Which
absolutely.
is
So it's the Digital Law Company
right,
by Emma Sadler,
right. Oh, you with
and
Emma
our
Sadler.
email.
Okay, okay.
Yes, yes.
All right,
And
fine.
our email address is info@thedigitallawco.com. People are more than
Okay,
welcome to send an email to that email address, and we'll
all
try and
right.
help as best as we can.
Okay, like yourself, she's also a law expert in digital matters, is she not? So wonderful to
Absolutely,
know that I'm
absolutely.
talking to a very, very legit organization. Let me take you, Carla, let me take you back a few years. What about a grievance that I may have had about someone posting something offensive about me 5 years ago? Or, can I still go back to that issue and have it addressed, or is that water under the bridge?
Yeah, it's also once again it is determined by the merits of the matter. You can, I mean, if it was something unlawful, if it was really an offence, very offensive against you, yes, you can. Um, it would be hard to get the evidence because we need the evidence as well. If you have screenshots of it or if you have the evidence stored away somewhere, then it is most possible, yes.
Okay, we need to wrap up now. My next guest is standing by, but what are the few key issues that we should be wary of being administrators and general WhatsApp users?
So just to make sure that nothing negative goes on your group, you need to put up that WhatsApp guidelines. You need to inform people that these are the rules and regulations of the group. If you don't stick with them, you're out. And keep an eye on all those messages. And if you don't like what people are saying, the WhatsApp admin also now has the power to delete messages for everyone and not just for themselves. Where normally it was always just the person who posted the message who could have deleted the message. So it is now the WhatsApp admin's responsibility to delete those messages from the group. And you always had about 1 hour to delete it. You now have up to 2 days to delete the message for everyone. So nobody can see it on that group. So please bear that in mind.
Great stuff. Carla de Beer, social media expert, talking about group admins in South Africa may face legal issues as a result of a recent WhatsApp modification. But remember, not only group admin, you as well. If you post anything which is defamatory or inflammatory or racist, you can be in deep, deep trouble. Thank you indeed for being with us. Go well and God bless.
Thank you. Bye.
Over 33 million people have been affected by the devastating floods